Hi students, we're going to talk about Chapter 5, Consumer Behavior, the how and why we buy. And this is the lifeblood of marketing. Trying to understand why consumers make the decisions they do, how do they come to these types of decisions, because the more I understand that as a marketer, the better able I am to influence consumer decisions. And so one of the first things that you'll see in Chapter 5 is what we call the consumer decision process. Consumers move through these steps in making virtually all decisions. Now, we don't necessarily do it explicitly where we totally understand this, but when you look at it and spend some time focusing on it, you'll understand that you actually do move through this process most of the time. And so the first step is problem recognition, then information search, evaluation of alternatives, product choice, and post-purchase evaluation. So most, if not all, consumer decisions begin with the recognition of a problem. The problem could be as simple as, I'm hungry, it's time for lunch, and I need something to eat. And so then you begin looking at information, maybe just simply a memory search of the places you like to eat. Perhaps your decision is also mitigated by the fact that you only have 30 minutes for lunch, so you got to go someplace fast. Or maybe you only have $5. And so you have to think of some place where you can get something to eat that you like for under $5. So those things become how we evaluate alternatives, perhaps based on the time issue or the money issue. And then we choose. After we choose, then we begin to evaluate whether or not that was a good decision. Sometimes, you've gone to a restaurant and you're like, that was horrible, I'm never going there again. Right? Or, I really enjoyed that. I might have to go there more often as part of post-purchase evaluation. So marketers spend a lot of time trying to figure out how I can influence that decision at different spots. Many times, marketers try to help you to recognize that you have a problem you didn't even know you had, right? And so they'll talk about, you'll see commercials where they talk about, do you have dry, limp hair? And you're thinking, you know what? I didn't know I had a problem, right? And how my product can solve that. So there's lots of different ways that marketers influence these decisions, and if you start paying attention to that in your everyday life, I'm sure you'll see lots of ways that marketers work to influence you. All right, another concept in this chapter that's important is the discussion of habitual versus extended decisions. Right? On the one hand, habitual decisions are decisions that we make rather quickly as consumers, and although we still move through this decision process we just talked about, it's almost split second. So, for example, my husband loves Frosted Flakes. And so when we're out of cereal at our house, problem recognition, right, we really don't evaluate a lot of alternatives. We just buy Frosted Flakes because that's what we like to eat. Right? So, but some people actually go to the grocery store aisle and are almost overwhelmed by the choices of cereals. I believe there's probably 40 or 50 brands. You could actually evaluate all of those brands in terms of making your decision. So many consumer decisions are habitual, meaning we buy the same brand our parents bought, or I always buy the cheapest, or what have you. So meaning that we don't necessarily go through each step and take time to stay there and contemplate. We just simply recognize the problem and we make a purchase. Right? And we do that a lot, or at least we try to do that, because there's so much information available to consumers that there's sometimes we need to move through things quickly. Right? On the other end of the spectrum are extended decision-making problems, and these are products that we're going to buy. We're going to spend a lot of time making this decision. We're going to deliberately move through each step of the consumer decision-making process. This might be like buying a house or a car, for example, something that's really important to us. It doesn't necessarily have to be expensive, but it's an important decision, and so you're going to spend more time evaluating alternatives, doing research, asking your friends what they think before you actually make the purchase decision. And so we can classify our product purchases kind of based on how much time we want to spend doing research, ensuring that we make a good decision. And marketers pay close attention to this and try to assist you, if you will, at every step of making this decision. So I hope that helps. There is a lot of really, really good information in Chapter 5, and so I would suggest that you spend extra time on this chapter and learning a lot of the concepts. There's also some coverage of the different influences on our decisions, personality and time and this kind of thing. So I would suggest you spend some time there, and we will talk again soon.